All right, everybody. Been listening to some Shaq Diesel. Getting ready.
B-ball.
This is our fantasy basketball projected top 10 show edition. Nameco with Dustin. Fantasy Smack Talk. Let's get right into the top 10 that we're projecting for this season.
And all of our ranking stuff and everything will be up very shortly. We're working on that as well.
Let's do that instead of getting ready.
This is just kind of a preview. Number 1, Kevin Durant. I mean, the guy's really good at basketball. You know, he just
we say about everybody now.
He just keeps getting better and better. He's just a pure scorer. He's going to help you out in a lot of other categories as well. He just does it all. KD.
Number 2 is LeBron James, and part of the reason that Durant is over him is Durant really helped his assist numbers, but if you want a guy that's basically a power forward and a point guard mixed into one, it's LeBron James. You're going to get 25 to 28 points, about 8 boards, 8 assists, steals, blocks. LeBron does it all. Love him or hate him, you're not allowed to let him pass number 2. Even if you hate the guy, you still got to take him at number 2.
And there's a pretty big drop-off after 2 as far as just proven multi-year, proven talent. But we think James Harden's got to be the guy at 3. I mean, after he left OKC, we knew that things could be big for him out in Houston. But I don't think anyone really saw
I called it. Just kidding.
Top 3 the next year
ridiculous.
In fantasy. I mean, this guy was amazing. I mean, they asked him to do a ton, and he did a ton, and he delivered. He's going to give you a ton of points, going to give you those threes. Not quite the same kind of stat filler that Durant or LeBron James is going to be, but he's still a guy that can do a lot of things for your fantasy team.
All right, at number 4, we got our number 1 ranked point guard, and this is because Russell Westbrook is going to be out to start the year, 4 to 6 weeks. So we're putting CP3 in there. And love CP3, he's paired up with Doc Rivers, so you're going to get the threes. And the one great thing about him is he gets a ton of steals, so he can really help in that category, sneaky with that. But I love the fact that he paired up with Doc Rivers. We all saw how Rondo played out in Boston. I think Paul's going to have the ball in his hands 99% of the time, up from his 95% of the time last year, and he's going to have a ton of assists. I think this year he certainly averages over 10, I'm thinking, and I'm going to make the call right now. He averages 11.8 assists a game. Leads the league.
I'm going to say 0.6.
All right, take the
0.8
under.
seems like way too much. All right, next, the scariest guy on this list, I feel, is Steph Curry, but you can't ignore what he did last year. But this guy does have kind of some glass ankles, so that's what scares me as far as my first round pick with taking a guy like him. But the guy was amazing. We all saw what he did. The threes are amazing, the points are amazing, and he's just a nice guy to secure, your point guard spot, right there, right off the bat. And if he stays healthy, he's gonna put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, 3.5 threes a game.
It's pretty sick.
And now our next guy, we got another point guard, and it has and it always will be about getting buckets. And that comes from a commercial there for you.
Gotcha.
For you guys. Kyrie Irving. Love the kid. Huge upside. He's going to score a ton of points. He's kind of a shoot-first point guard, but he's still going to get you a decent amount of dimes. And he actually put up a few boards. I think got like 4 a game. So I'm really projecting here him to have an increased scoring average to like 25. 5 and 5 isn't out of possibility for Kyrie Irving this year, or 25, 5 and 4 probably. But regardless, he's going to score a ton. Love Irving, can get to the hoop pretty much on anybody, and he's got a decent little jumper, so really like Kyrie Irving again this year.
Next is Kevin Love. If he didn't have the injury stuff kind of hanging over his head, he'd be at number 3, but he does, so that's why he falls down to number 7. But even at that point in the draft, he could be great value for you because, honestly, he has the potential of being the number 1 best fantasy player just because of the big man stats that he can give you, and he throws in those threes. And they're even saying that his assists, they're going to try to get some more assists out of him this year because he is a decent passer for a big man. So Kevin Love, kind of risk reward in the first round. Hopefully he stays healthy, but if he does, could be huge for him.
All right, coming in number 8 is Carmelo Anthony. And Anthony had a stellar season last year, really carried the load when Amari went down. Amari's not any healthier. And I think the fact that they added Bargnani, a really big stretch 4, is going to really open things up for Melo, who for pound, I feel is the best one-on-one player in the NBA because he has that great jumper, can take it to the rack. I think Melo has the potential to win the scoring championship this year, even putting up about 30 a game. And of course, you're still going to get your boards that you always do with Melo.
Next is a guy that was kind of a surprise from last year. We thought he would do well, but not this well. That's Paul George. he was amazing. You know, he was on a team that didn't really have a ton of weapons, and he stepped up, played great. You know, Granger's not really in the way for him anymore. You know, it's really his team at this point. They're going to ask him to do a lot, and he should be able to produce. And he's one of those guys that can do, you know, across the board, pretty good stats for his position.
All right, at number 10, we got one of the most underappreciated people in fantasy, and that's LaMarcus Aldridge. All this guy does is score 20 points, get about 10 rebounds a game. He's a double-double machine, shoots about 50% from the field. I mean, I don't know how you don't love this guy. He's a very, very safe, solid pick at the end of the first round. So if you're sitting there at 10, you grab him and then somebody else in the wraparound. It's not too bad. I kind of want a John Wall here, but can't. I know. I love my boy, though. My Bullets, they're making the playoffs this year. They will make the playoffs this year.
If they do, they'll be an 8th seed losing the first
I don't
round.
care. Just make
But
the playoffs.
this is our first basketball show. Like I said, all other stuff will be out shortly. If you got any questions, post them in the forums. Name code's over here. Dustin's right here.
I get buckets! Buckets!